Well, hello. Hello.
Hello.
I just love that intro. I'm sorry. I know it's
Mm-hmm.
long. It is against all the YouTube rules of engagement and people preach at me all the time. But I just sit here and I'm smiling so big whenever I hear that. Like, So thank you. Thank you very much for what you did with that and what Christopher Maute from the Otherhood did with that. You know, let me just
You're most
sh-
welcome.
shout your mouth out that I'm so grateful because it's such a great piece. I love it. And that you guys are two of the most talented people that I know. And they're more than musicians. They are so much more than musicians. So it's nice. And I love how layered you guys are. Well, anyway, how's your morning going? Is morning still there, or is it afternoon
It's
already? Wait,
just turned afternoon now.
you just hit lunch, did you? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's dinner here. It's 6 o'clock. East Coast, United States. It's pretty close dinner time for most people, but
Mm.
hmm, not me. I eat in the middle of the night. Mm.
I just eat whenever I'm hungry. If I'm not
Yeah.
hungry, well,
If you're not hungry, you just don't eat. Well, you know what? Because
yeah.
you don't have a household. Like you don't get to feed anybody else but you, right? So you get to call the shots. So there's
True.
freedom. There's freedom in that. I'm used to
Mm-hmm.
having a house full of people. There's not as much freedom with
Mm.
with all of that. Although I do run mostly my own schedule, as you know. But, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So today we got a very interesting one. Yeah, what'd you say? Mm.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Interesting is an understatement with this one.
Chapter 14. Yes. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the ones. If you had told me about chapter 14 when you sold me this idea, we wouldn't be here.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I do think it's important to talk about these things, like why these laws work or don't work, how they apply to everyday life, and whether or not they're actually reasonable to use in this day and age. After all,
Absolutely.
this is an aged book. It's not done in 2025, and
Mm-hmm.
things have changed like drastically. Uh, Things change fast these days, you know. Yeah.
Very.
We are all so much more connected with the internet and everything. People can Google something immediately. Rumors are like, rumors always did, you know, travel fast, but now with the internet, man, it's like instantaneous reputational damage.
Yep.
Oh, what is that? Uh, that Uncle Roger, emotional damage. Is that
Emotional damage. Yeah,
emotional damage? Yeah. Mhm.
that's I can't remember who the YouTube channel is anymore.
Yeah, but I
I
heard,
watch
I
him
can
every so
hear it in
often,
my head.
but
I can
yeah.
hear it in my head, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Uncle Roger uses it a lot. Or
But it comes from somewhere else. I just can't remember where it is.
yeah.
But like, so we're re plagiarizing.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, yeah. But I guess we could just get right to it. For those of you that are watching, um, thank you so much. We are on three different platforms for my channel. We're on YouTube, Kick, and Twitch. And how about
And Twitch. Yes.
are you co-streaming today, sir?
Oh, I knew I forgot something. Oh
This
well. It happens.
whatever. Yeah, but I'm excited because you're on holiday, which means we may see you streaming a little bit more, huh? Yeah,
Yes. From
yeah.
tomorrow on, I'm going to be streaming on a daily basis.
A daily basis. I'm going to be
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be a little busy, you know,
Mm-hmm.
sitting there modding. Behave. I will behave myself though. I'll be very quiet, or well, as quiet as a bear can be, which well, it's a little quiet. It's not very quiet, but
Yes.
a little bit. Let's bring it up. Let's bring up presentation and let's get this. How about we get this show on the road?
Yeah.
We got a lot of ground to cover with this one. We're on law 14 of 48. Like we're trudging along. We are trudging
Mm-hmm.
in.
We are mm, nearly over. No, a little over a quarter now.
Mm, yep, yep.
Yes, my math. do-
It's,
it's the holidays. I just
I don't.
think
I was gonna say.
if I showed anyone the goddamn formulas that I've been going through, you would understand why my math right now is cooked.
For those of you not on the inside track there, he does engineering math. Like he has to do engineering formulas. He's taking an engineering certificate in.
And
The math is crazy. It's
for
absolutely
some
crazy.
ridiculous reason, I chose electrical engineering. Don't ask me why. Apparently, I hate myself. I do.
Uh, you know what? You're just too humble because you're actually pretty good at it. Like, because it's coming in handy already with your other side project. As a musician, building electronics for yourself to use and for others.
Yes.
Like it is coming in handy. But I do see that you put your math brain aside for the day since you can't even just you know
Mm-hmm.
do simple fractions there or percentages. But I trust that your reading and comprehension is still intact for the rest of our series. We don't take a break when you take a break from uni. We actually go harder. Right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll keep you on track. So the Law 14, our breakdown, first of all, the title of their chapter is Pose as a Friend and Work as a Spy. Definitely didn't make me feel comfortable from the get go.
No, it's definitely not a skill that is applicable in real life.
Yeah. Well, it
In
is and it isn't. Like,
outside, well,
yeah.
I should say outside the boardroom.
Yeah. Well, let's just say, well, it is and it isn't, because I don't think anyone watching us cannot relate to the fact of somebody who they thought was a friend or was a confidant who actually was just a backstabbing, two-faced, whatever, or AKA spy, or,
Mm,
or of some nature for some nefarious reason. I'm sure we've
yep.
all been in situations. So in a way, it'll be relatable. Um, in especially the one, the why it works and how it works, and how you can tell. At least being aware of it. I mean, it is everyday life. People are not genuine all the time. I mean,
Mm,
it is more common that people are disingenuous than genuine. It's kind of a societal pressure of keeping up appearances, of insecurities, of the way things are so competitive. At least here in America, you have to kind of see it for what it is. That most people are just a bit disingenuous because of the societal pressures this way. You know, they don't. You don't always know everything that's going on with everybody. You know.
mm,
Well, anyway, the law explained. Knowing about your rival is critical. Use spies to gather valuable information that will keep you a step ahead. Better still, play the spy yourself. In polite social encounters, learn to be polite. Ask indirect questions to get people to reveal their weaknesses and intentions. There is no occasion that is not an opportunity for artful spying. I I might have to
yep.
disagree with that last sentence. That, not might. I do disagree with that last sentence. Um, let's say it is possible to do the art of spying in all situations. It is possible. Should you? No, I strongly say no. But no,
No,
not every occasion. Um, should
definitely
be
not every occasion.
should be used as an opportunity for artful spying. No. Yeah. There's gonna
Imagine,
be what? What?
imagine just like a kindergarten teacher using it on the children. Just like, and what's your favorite color?
I'm
Orange?
gonna
Okay, let me
yes.
just write that down.
Let me write that down. I shall be blackmailing you in the fifth grade with this
Yeah.
for sure.
Wait,
Yes,
yeah, wait till you get
absolutely.
into seventh
You know,
grade.
you know. What on a positive note, like we're making fun because, like, of course we are, because this is a pretty harsh one, and we are going to have to like find the nuances here. But actually, you could see subtle ways to use it, to think that we're not all doing it to some nature, not in this harsh language as Green is using here, by calling everyone a spy or some kind of intelligence agent, or like you've got this big black notebook on everybody. But we are all doing it to some degree all the time, in most of our situations. And
Well,
we were so
we
yeah,
we do it just naturally because
yes.
you're not. I mean, you're not overtly you're not specifically using it, but when you ask someone how their day is, fundamentally you're still quote unquote spying on them,
Well, you're gathering information. Yes,
gathering
absolutely.
information. Yeah.
But it's not in a mischievous or malicious way. Like it is, or for any kind of nefarious reason. Like,
Mm.
um, but we are always gathering information about everybody in our surroundings, at all times.
Mm.
And actually, part of being connected with people and communicating is in the sharing of information back and forth. Whether that is
Exactly.
intimate information, about your personal life and stuff like that, or it's just a work situation, an environmental situation, a group, some club you belong with, it's all
Mm-hmm.
different layers. But to think that we're not doing this to some degree all the time, well, that would be a misnomer. Like, I don't want to say, no, don't do that. Well, we do have to. It's part of survival. It's part of instinct. It's part of human nature that we are constantly gathering information to like protect ourselves. Um,
Exactly.
like would you say, Justin, Rekkr, like if we just meet someone new, right? aren't we
Mm-hmm.
automatically going through parameters in our head of safe or
Absolutely.
not safe? Like just pulling information casually and putting them in the safe or not safe environment kind of situation, right? Because,
Yeah, the first impression. That's
right.
why everyone says first impressions always count.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't
And I,
necessarily believe that, but like, you know, first impressions do matter to an extent.
I don't think we forget them. I do
No.
think that we alter them. Like we say, all right, that's not actually true about that person. They were probably having a bad day. Like I learned
Mm.
better about them. Or like, oh, they presented so well, but that was all fake. Like when you find out later, well, you do
Mm-hmm.
always remember that first impression. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but you may put a different value on it or a different weight on it, later on. Well, when I was using the terms like safe and unsafe, like I'm using them purposefully to actually, get us to look at this whole situation from a survival, our flight or fight instincts that's inbred in all of us, which
Mm.
is our, like, to me, that is like the core essential. Like, that's the thing you cannot control. Like, that just happens
Absolutely.
naturally. That is like, it is ingrained in us through evolution, through years and years and years and years. It transfers, like from the day we're born, part of it's there, okay,
Mm-hmm.
in everything. So like it's just something just happens naturally. So when you're meeting a new person, obviously you're starting to disseminate that information as to safe or unsafe. And now, as humans with higher intelligence, we craft the conversations around it. We may ask leading questions for information that we want to know,
Mm-hmm.
to see, especially if you're dating, whether this
Mm.
is something you want to go forward with or not. Like,
This is actually probably one. That's probably one of the scenarios in normal everyday life where not exactly in the strictest sense, but the ethos of pose as a friend, work as a spy might actually be
mhm,
okay.
because you're going to be very friendly about it, but in your head, with your checklist, you are doing a massive interrogation. I mean,
Absolutely.
you practically have a gun to their head in a spotlight on their face, right? Like, yeah,
Mm.
because you need all this information, but you're doing it in a very friendly manner, in a very inauspicious way, like so that you don't really know you're being grilled. Although everybody knows on a first date you're being grilled, like
Mm-hmm.
especially
That's and that's one of the reasons why on any first date I have, it's bad coffee. It's always bad coffee. Because at the very least, you can complain about how bad the coffee is together.
it, true. I always say that that's my big judge. Like if you sit there bad coffee for more than like drinking a cup of coffee, like hours, uh, there's something there. The conversation's flowing easy. If anything, you're at least dealing with a person who is a great conversationalist, could be entertaining, could be a good friend. May not be somebody you want to date onwards,
Mm.
but it's definitely a connection that was worth it. And the longer that coffee lasts, mm,
Yep.
the better. The better. Yeah.
If the
Because,
coffee gets cold, you're doing good.
yeah. So, yeah. Because like there's really not much between you. Like if it's just coffee, there's not a lot of distraction. It's really just two people face to face. So it's pretty cool. Oh yeah,
Exactly.
you're right. You're right. That is one of the base situations. Um, that probably makes this law more usable, like in 2025, like now in everyday life. You know. Uh,
And
but
I just thought of another thing that bad coffee is also good for. It's also good for trying to figure out whether or not the person you're wanting to have bad coffee with is actually even worth having bad coffee with. Because if they get offended with bad coffee, well, maybe you
then they're
dodged a bullet.
probably, you know what? If they get offended with bad coffee, they're not going to get your corny jokes. They're going to judge you for like your family. Like, yeah, it's a big tell. It really is. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. No, seriously. I would rather be laughing about the bad coffee and enjoying the coffee. I mean, it's not like you made it yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not responsible. Like, gosh darn it, I'm never going to date you again. You picked the worst coffee joint with the worst coffee. Like, forget that. Like, yes, that's a no right there. I mean, but I do know that there are people that that's very important to. They would use that to just check somebody off. Personally, I think they're missing out on a lot, but I do know that there are people like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Oh, hell yeah.
well, anyway, let's go. Let's get on with it. All right, so we do have some historical examples to explain this law.
Mm-hmm.
Not many. I mean, they're going to have to listen to my voice first instead of yours.
Yes.
Unless you want to switch. I don't know.
I don't mind. You normally read the observance, so.
Okay, okay, so we're going to do the observance of the law. And for those of you that are following along, there's the PDF is listed in the description of the video on YouTube. And it's on page 125 for chapter 14. So the observance of the law for that Robert Greene lists is Joseph Duveen was undoubtedly the greatest art dealer of his time. From 1904 to 1940, he almost single handedly monopolized America's millionaire art collecting market. But one prize plum eluded him the industrialist Andrew Mellon. Before he died, Duveen was determined to make Mellon a client. Duveen's friends said this was an impossible dream. Mellon was a stiff, taciturn man. The stories he had heard about the congenial, talkative Duveen rubbed him the wrong way. He had made it clear he had no desire to meet the man. Yet Duveen told his doubting friends, not only will Mellon buy from me, but he will buy only from me. For several years, he tracked his prey, learning the man's habits, tastes, phobias. And to do this, he secretly put several of Mellon's staff on his own payroll, worming valuable information out of them. By the time he moved into action, he knew Mellon about as well as Mellon's wife did. In 1921, Mellon was visiting London and staying in a palatial suite on the third floor of the Claridge Hotel. Duveen booked himself into the suite just below Mellon's on the second floor. He had arranged for his valet to befriend Mellon's valet. And on that fateful day he had chosen to make his move, Mellon's valet told Duveen's valet, who told Duveen that he had just helped Mellon on with his overcoat and that the industrialist was making his way down the corridor to ring for the lift. Duveen's valet hurriedly helped Duveen into his overcoat. Seconds later, Duveen entered the lift, and lo and behold, there was Mellon. How do you do, Mr. Mellon? Said Duveen, introducing himself. I am on my way to the National Gallery to look at some pictures. How uncanny! That was precisely where Mellon was headed. And so Devine was able to accompany his prey to the one location that would ensure his success. He knew Mellon's taste inside and out, and while the two men wandered through the museum, he dazzled the magnate with his knowledge. Once again, quite uncannily, they seemed to have remarkably similar tastes. Mellon was pleasantly surprised. This was not the Duveen he had expected. The man was charming and agreeable, and clearly had exquisite taste. When they returned to New York, Mellon visited Duveen's exclusive gallery and fell in love with the collection. Everything, surprisingly enough, seemed to be precisely the kind of work he wanted to collect. For the rest of his life, he was Duveen's best and most generous client. Hey. Well, that is a good story of how just getting information was very beneficial to him for,
Mm-hmm.
you know, well, the interpretation that they put on here is that a man as ambitious and competitive as Joseph Devine, of course, he left nothing to chance. What's the point of winging it or just hoping you may be able to charm this or that client? It's like shooting ducks blindfolded. So he armed himself with a little knowledge, and then your aim improves. Mellon was the most spectacular of Duvine's catches, but he spied on many a millionaire by secretly putting members of his client's household staff on his own payroll. He would gain constant access to valuable information about their master's comings and goings, changes in taste, and other such tidbits of information that would put him a step ahead. A rival of Dauvin's, who wanted to make Henry Frick a client, noticed that whenever he visited this wealthy New Yorker, Devine was there before him, as if he had a sixth sense. To other dealers, Duveen seemed to be everywhere and to know everything before they did. His powers discouraged and disheartened them, until many simply gave up going after the wealthy clients who could make a dealer rich. Such is the power of artful spying. It makes you seem all powerful and clairvoyant. Your knowledge of your mark can also make you seem charming. So well can you anticipate his desires. No one sees the source of your power, and what they cannot see, they cannot fight.
Hmm.
Well, I do agree. That's kind of harmless finding out information. I mean, if you're going to be a good salesman, which an art dealer is like a car salesman, but with fancier product, uh, you do need to know your client. You need to know what they like, what they don't like.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's pretty smart. I mean, I'm sure this is used all the time. You know, you okay?
Yes, I'm silencing my phone in case it tries to
Oh, it
violently
did.
attack everyone's ears.
It just did go off a couple of times in a row.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
it is quite it can be useful that way, you know.
It is. In this respect, like, I don't actually think that's what he did was necessarily a bad thing. Like, I can understand it seeming like morally iffy because it's like, oh, you're planting people in in some in your, I guess, your marks close circle to try and get information, but it's not like he's using it to blackmail him. He's using it to sort of understand the customer, and it's very similar. I say similar in quotation marks, similar to like um uh what like the like when test screenings of movies and stuff.
Mhm.
Like you have an audience that of random people come in to figure out whether or not the movie is going in the right direction, or if
Mhm.
stuff inside it needs to be changed, stuff like that.
Well, yeah, they do.
Um,
They run those thing. They run what the test screenings like big deal. You know,
mm,
whole companies do that for people, right? You know.
hmm
Yeah.
and ultimately, it's not. It's it is not toxic to, in this case, Duveen. Not
Mhm.
Duveen. The other guy, Malone.
Oh,
Melon.
Melon. Yeah, he yes, it's not toxic to him because he's getting what he wants in the end. Although
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he might be personally offended to find out that his valet was on somebody else's payroll and
Oh,
dishing
absolutely.
information. Nobody wants to think that you're so the people around you are giving out your personal information and stuff like that. But
This is
I
probably
mean,
why rich people are so paranoid.
well, yeah, but it's actually just like the way it is. I mean, we all know
Mm.
that that's how in the entertainment business it works, and people hear about. contracts and things like that, or stuff coming up, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
him always getting there first was the thing. Like he would get good information. He was always there first. You know, he always got to sell his ideas first, which was a good thing. You know, for
Mm-hmm.
him, he was quite successful at it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I just to say, like, welcome, bearded, in hey, couch, Mrs. Cassandra. It's good to see you. You know, it's nice to have you guys in the chat. Couch was saying when we were talking about the bad coffee that it's also a good way to find out if people are just agreeing with you, so that you will like them. Like it's like a good kind of like situation. You can
Mm.
figure it out, you know, by asking different kinds of questions and stuff like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm. Long time no see, bearded. We need to catch up so much. Yeah. Well, uh, this law was offensive to me at first, but I'm kind of warming up to it because I can see it's just a lot of part of human nature. Although Robert Greene kind of frames it in harsh language, you know.
The way I think that's just a common theme in this book is that Robert Greene is just taking some of the most, I mean, not all of it, but some of it is just completely innocuous and stuff that we do
Hmm.
without even realizing it, and just
Hmm.
framing it in a way that's like, did you just murder that person?
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm just saying, like, because it's a book on power, on regaining your power, on using power, about power in general. Of course, it's going to be harsher. Like it's all about power plays and power moves in getting
Hmm.
ahead and getting ahead ruthlessly. It's structured that way, you know. Um, but I like to dismantle it and make it a little softer around the edges because
Yes.
there's no doubt about it. The key factors of it work. Yes. Mm.
Well, absolutely.
I
Otherwise,
mean,
the book wouldn't be so famous
and controversial.
and controversial.
Mm. Mm. Would you like to read the keys to power for them since we didn't have a transgression? Mm.
Absolutely. I'll read the quote first as well.
Okay.
Rulers see through spies as cows through smell. Uh, I'm I can't
Huh?
what
Oh,
Braham's
oh, that says it
Brahim
says Brahmins through
Brahmins.
scriptures. Yes,
Oh,
Brahmins through
I yep,
scriptures. Yeah.
Brahmins through scriptures and the rest of the people through their normal eyes. Uh, that's an Kataliya, Indian philosopher, 3rd century BC. Close enough.
Close enough.
Keys to power. In the realms of power, your goal is a degree of control over future events. Part of the problem you face, then, is that people won't tell you all their thoughts, emotions, and plans. Controlling what they say, they often keep the most critical parts of their character hidden. Their weaknesses, ulterior motives, obsessions. The result is that you cannot predict their moves and are constantly in the dark. And are constantly in the dark. The trick is to find a way to probe them, to find out their secrets and hidden intentions without letting them know what you're up to. This is not as difficult as you might think. A friendly front will let you secretly gather information on friends and enemies alike. Let others consult the horoscopes or read tarot cards. You have more concrete means of seeing into the future. The most common way of spying is to use other people, as Devine did. The method is simple, powerful, but risky. You will certainly gather information, but you have little control over the people who are doing the work. Perhaps they will ineptly reveal your spying, or even secretly turn against you. It is far better to be the spy yourself, to pose as a friend while secretly gathering information. The French politician Talleyrand was
Mm-hmm.
one of the greatest practitioners of this art. He had an uncanny ability to worm secrets out of people in polite conversation. A contemporary of his, Baron de Vitrolles, wrote, "Wit and grace marked his conversations. He possessed the art of concealing his thoughts or his malice beneath a transparent veil of insinuations, words that imply something more than they express. Only when necessary did he inject his own personality. The key here is Talleyrand's ability to suppress himself in the conversation, to make others talk endlessly about themselves, and inadvertently reveal their intentions and plans. Throughout Talleyrand's life, people said he was a superb conversationalist, yet he actually said very little. He never talked about his own ideas. He got others to reveal theirs. He would organize friendly games of charades for the foreign diplomats. Social gatherings where, however, mm, he would he there. However, he would carefully weigh their words, cajole differences out of them, and gather information invaluable to his work as a France foreign minister. At the Congress of Vienna, 1814 to 1815, he did this spying in other ways. He would blurt out what seemed to be secrets, actually something he had made up, then watch his listeners' reactions. He might tell a gathering of diplomats, for instance, that a reliable source had revealed to him that the Tsar of Russia was planning to arrest the top general for treason. By, by watching the diplomat's reaction to his made up story, he would know which ones were most excited about the weakening of the Russian army. Perhaps their governments had designs
Oh,
on Russia. As Baron von Stettin said, uh, Monsieur Talleyrand fires a pistol into the air to see who will jump out of the window. Now that's a
that's a saying.
yeah, that's a saying.
It means like you throw it into the room to see who reacts. Like
Yeah.
I think it's quite clever tactic. Actually.
Yep.
Hmm.
During social gatherings and innocuous encounters, pay attention. This is when people's guards are down. By suppressing your own personality, you can make them reveal things. The brilliance of the maneuver is that they will mistake your interest in them for friendship, so that you will not only learn, you will make allies. Nevertheless, you should practice this tactic with caution and care. If people begin to suspect you are worming secrets out from under the cover of conversation, they will strictly avoid you. Emphasize friendly chatter, not valuable information. Your search for gems of information cannot be too obvious, or your probing questions will reveal more about yourself and your intentions than information you hope to find. A trick to a trick to try in spying comes from La Roche Facade. La Roche Facade. Can I just call him Focaccia?
Yeah, but sure.
La Focaccia, who wrote, uh, "Sincerity is found in very few men, and is often a, the clever ruse Uh, oop, what's sorry, page just disappeared. One
I
second.
know that sometimes that
Please hold
happens.
tight.
Eh,
Here we go. Uh, comes from La Fakasha, who wrote, "Sincerity is found in few men, and is one of the cleverest ruses is sincere in order to draw out the confidence and secret of the other.
hmm,
By pretending to bare your heart to another person, in other words, you make them more likely to reveal their own secrets. Give them a false confession, and they will give you a real one. Another
hmm.
trick was identified by philosopher Arthur
I help you. Schopenhauer.
Schopenhauer. Arthur
I,
Schopenhauer, who
yeah.
suggested vehemently contradicting people you're in conversation with as a way of irritating them, um, stirring them up so that they lose some of the control over their words. In their emotional reaction, they will reveal all kinds of truths about themselves, truths you can later use against them.
Hmm.
Another method of indirect spying is to test people, to lay little traps that make them reveal things about themselves. Uh, Chorus II, a notoriously clever 7th century king of the Persians, had many ways of seeing through subjects without raising suspicion. If he noticed, for instance, that two of his courtiers had become particularly friendly, he would call one of them aside and say he had information that the other was a traitor and would soon be killed. The king would tell the courtier he trusted him more than anyone else and that he must keep this information secret. Then, if this would let me
Mm-hmm.
scroll,
Right.
then, just let me scroll. There we go, okay. Then he would watch the two men carefully. If he saw that the second courtier had not changed in his behavior towards the king, he would conclude that the first courtier had kept the secret, and he would quickly promote the man, later taking him aside to confess, "I meant to kill your friend because of certain information that had reached me, but when I investigated the matter, I found it was untrue." If, on the other hand, the second courtier started to avoid the king, acting aloof and tense, Corsair would know that the secret had been revealed, and he would ban the second courtier from his court, letting him know that the whole business had been a test, but that even through, even though the man had done nothing wrong, he could no longer trust him. The first courtier, however, had revealed a secret, and him, Corsair, would ban from the entire kingdom. It may seem an odd form of spying that reveals not empirical information but a person's character. Often, however, it is the best way of solving problems before they arise. By tempting people into certain acts, you learn about their loyalty, their honesty, and so on. And this kind of knowledge is often the most valuable of all. Armed with it, you can predict their actions in the future.
Hmm. It's true. Like doing the, you know. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, it's really good. It's pretty cool. At first, like this chapter looks like, hey, it's really offensive. Like we shouldn't be spying on each other. That's not very trustworthy. It's not like building good, solid relationships. But we're talking about endeavors to reaching goals. People using these techniques to move ahead in business endeavors, in organizational situations where climbing the ladder and getting a leg up are necessary to success. Being the first one with it to get to the boss with a good idea, you know, or getting the right person's ear if you're looking for funding or inspiration on a project. Yeah, that's what these types of laws are for. Um, and there's something to be said about inside information. 'Cause, information is necessary, right? You know, it's what
Mm-hmm.
it what makes the world go round, so to speak. You know. Yeah. Oh. Hello, Lucky. Thanks for driving by before sleep. Don't
Mm-hmm.
crash. I hope you're not too tired driving like that. Oh. Well, let me read the image for you here. The
Mm-hmm.
third eye of the spy. In the land of the two eye, the third eye gives you the omniscience of a god. You see further than in others, and you see deeper into them. Nobody is safe from the eye but you. You know, it's like having information can be valuable and useful in moving ahead in a lot of situations. You know? Without good information, we can't really make educated decisions, can we? In anything.
Nope.
Yeah. You want to read the authority? This is
I
from
can
your
read the
favorite guy.
authority.
This is from one of your
Mm-hmm.
favorite guys there.
Authority. Now, the reason a brilliant sovereign and a wise general conqueror. Uh, now, the reason a brilliant sovereign and a wise general conqueror conquer the enemy whenever they move, and their achievements surpass those of ordinary men, is their foreknowledge of the enemy's situation. This foreknowledge cannot be elicited from spirits, nor from gods, nor from analogy. The past, the past with past events, nor by analogy with past events, nor by astrological calculations. It must be obtained from men who know the enemy's situation, from spies. Sun Tzu, The Art of War, 4th century BC.
Old Sun Tzu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, well. So, when we talk about the art of spying or using spying to secure your power in situations, whether it be business or negotiations of some type, there are specific techniques, huh? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take them every other one?
Sure.
Okay. All right, I'll do the first one. Active
Mm-hmm.
listening and minimal speaking. When you suppress your own thoughts in conversation and speak only when necessary, encouraging others to talk endlessly about themselves. You want to make space, in other words, and they'll fill it.
Mm-hmm. Social gatherings as intelligence operations. Organize or attend social events where people's guards are naturally down. So be a social butterfly in some respects.
Especially about the work events,
Mm-hmm.
especially the ones where upper management and key players that you need to impress uh, are going to be there. Emotional provocation. Stir up people's emotions by contradicting them, causing them to reveal truths in their emotional states. A little bit of gentle pushback can often get people to reveal more than they wanted to in a situation.
If I remember I can't remember where it was, but um I remember hearing something like you're more likely to get a correct answer if you say the wrong if you make a wrong statement.
Mm-hmm.
Um and then false confessions. Share fake secrets to make others reciprocate with real confessions. In other words, if you're that way inclined, just lie.
God,
It's
no,
be
he,
it's just
no, 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 no. You are not encouraging the general public to
I'm
lie,
I'm
are
not
you?
encouraging this. I do not I do not condone this type of degeneracy. But
Okay,
if you're
thank
going
you.
to do it,
Do it well.
do it well.
Don't get caught. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is true. Like, maybe not a false confession, but a little white lie. A little bit like, oh yeah, oh, I've had this happen to me, just to get somebody to talk about a situation you want to know about.
Mm-hmm.
Like laying some ground. I can see it working. Yeah. Like strategic questioning. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Ask indirect questions that probe for weaknesses in intentions without appearing overly inquisitive. And when we were going over this one, I used an example of being on a date, and if you were a woman of a certain age, so to speak, like I think I said what, like 35, and I'm just throwing numbers out
Mm.
there, people. I'm not being judgy. And you're dating, and in your mind, you're dating with purpose because you want to meet your mate, your soulmate. You want to have a family. You want to have children. You just come out of another relationship where perhaps you guys didn't talk about whether children or anything were in the future in the beginning, and you wasted a lot of years, and now you're 35 years old, and like you don't got that kind of time anymore, biological clock and all that. So you got to find creative ways to find out how they feel about kids, so you don't waste like another 3-4 years of your life with somebody who just doesn't want to have children, or has particular views, or doesn't get along, like is not comfortable with them, not really looking forward to anything like that. But you don't want to scare off the first date or the second date by just coming right out and saying, do you want to have children someday? It, that could be a very awkward first date question. Would you agree? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Just casually, just you know,
As a
drinking
guy,
coffee, and
even
they're just like, so about children.
as a guy, whether you want to have children or not in the future, that would definitely make you run away, wouldn't it, on a first date? Like you'd be like, no,
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't care, because that sets the premise that you don't really care who you're talking to. You have an agenda, and actually you do. But the key is to ask good questions in such a way so your agenda is not noticed. Like, so, like, you could still be that 35-year-old woman who definitely has an agenda of wanting to get married and having children, but you want the right partner, but you don't want it to be perceived as it could be anybody as long as you agree with my goals. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because they're gonna run away, and they should.
Mm-hmm.
They should actually. So you got to be a little strategic about it. You want the information because you don't want to waste years of your life again. But you
Exactly.
know, you know, and it can't be the only deciding factor, but it should be a deciding factor if that's what you're being honest with yourself.
If that's what
But
your ultimate goal is, then yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it's for people who really you know, don't have a like if that's your goal, because of the biological clock, you don't really have a lot of time to waste. You know, even the greatest
Mm-hmm.
guy in the world, you're not gonna spend all this time with them if that's not a mutual goal. Like you're not on the same path from the start. You could get along great. They could be wonderful. There's nothing wrong with them. But you're not judging him as a person. You're judging compatibilities in being on the same path. You know, it's not personal. Yeah,
Exactly.
but definitely not first date conversation in a direct way.
No.
And you can have the last one.
And the last one is setting conversational traps. Make up false statements and observe reactions to determine people's true interests and allegiances. Or yes,
You
close
get
enough.
all the good ones: lying, cheating, deceiving. You
I
get,
know, right?
I get
Jesus.
all the. Uh, so make up false statements and observe reactions. I kind of like Talleyrand, dude. Like just throw the bomb in the
Yeah,
room.
just like
Okay. What
yeah.
you said before about saying the wrong thing to get the right answer, so that
Mm-hmm.
everybody would correct you and say how they feel about something, so you know, like yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like that. Okay, it's pretty clever. This is
Like
this. Yeah.
like the three prime colors of light is red, blue, and yellow.
What? What?
The three prime the three prime colors of light is red, blue, and yellow.
No, it's not. Where'd you get that? Is that from your book of first date false questions?
Yes.
and, okay.
And anyone who actually knows what the real prime colors of light is probably going, no, it's it's red, blue, and green. It is, if I remember correctly. I think so.
I hope so. Since you just threw it out there.
Uh,
Yeah, and he's an artist too. Like, so this is
yeah.
good. Like, it would also like kind of determine if they have any artistic knowledge or if they are familiar with the
Mm-hmm.
art world in general. Yeah. Well,
Fun fact: yellow was actually a really hard color to make light. Yellow
really?
LEDs were the last LEDs to actually be created because yellow is a really hard color to make.
Hmm. These are
True
very.
yellow, not
This.
the false kind of yellow that we see,
Oh, you mean the
which is
happy
actually
yellow
just a
that I
mixture.
like? Yeah, which is a mixture of happy yellow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into the nuts and bolts of this. What do you say?
Yeah.
So now that you know how to do it and that people are doing it and some of the benefits of why you would want to do it or why you wouldn't want to do it, how why does it work? Like why why does spying and just being not genuine in certain situations, how does that actually work? And why do they get away with it? Like, you know? Hmm. Well, these definite psychological and human nature principles on why this tactic works. You, you want to take the first one?
Sure. Reciprocity principle. People that feel psychologically obligated to reciprocate when someone shares information with them. When you offer a confession, even a false one, social norms creates pressure for the other person to respond in kind, revealing genuine information. This reciprocity bias is so powerful it can override whether someone even likes you.
So even if they're getting the kind of nudge that you ask too many questions or that you're not being genuine, social norms will make them respond kindly and keep talking with you and keep revealing things to themselves because they don't want to be, you know, judged harshly in societal norms as being stuck up or didn't want to talk to them or judgmental or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it works because reciprocity is just built into us. Somebody talks to us, we talk to them. It's like the
Exactly.
hello thing. It's very hard not to say hello to somebody who says hello to you. You have to
Yes.
really go out of your way not to. What's your first
Or you
instinct?
have headphones in.
No, but even then, like, even then, do you not nod? Yeah, if somebody nods
If I
at
hear
you,
them and or see them, yes, yes.
yes, and somebody nods their head towards you because they have headphones on too. Don't you do the same thing in
Mm-hmm.
reciprocity, like just automatically? And you do it without even thinking. Like when you're
True.
walking down the street and somebody says hello, you say hello back. You do it without even thinking. It just pops right out of your mouth, and you're just like, I didn't know them. Why did I just say that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, yeah, it's just instinct. Yeah, in just what we have cultivated as social norms. You know. Well, how we get into even more. I'll do the first one and I'll let you do the second one. But the first
Yep.
one on this slide is about trust and vulnerability. Humans naturally lower their defenses around people they perceive as friends. When someone appears friendly and interested, we interpret their curiosity as genuine rather than strategic information gathering. Trust builds through repeated cooperative interactions, creating a learned pattern where people become more willing to share sensitive information. And this kind of goes to the thing is that the longer you speak with someone, the more interactions you have with them, the more comfortable you get, the more sensitive and intimate information you may start divulging about yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you don't necessarily, it's not in our nature to look at everybody as if they are just a spy. Well, not normally. I would say I have a huge issue with that. I am not a very trusting person. Um, so, like, I might look at certain conversations as people trying to get information out of me all the time, but I'm not the norm. Like, I'm jaded. Like, I'm jaded. I'll admit it. I'm a bit jaded, all based on prior interactions that I've had, especially out here on the socials. Oh, but it's not the norm. I mean, out there in the real world, right? The norm is that the more somebody is perceived as friendly and just trying to get to know you, the more comfortable you are with them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
easy to talk to that smiling person, the one who seems interested in you. I mean, there's another part of it. Like when somebody shows interest in you, are we not all instantly flattered that somebody is even wanting to talk with us in some way? Like, it's what humans crave. We all long for connection and communication on some level. Some of us more comfortable with it than others, but it is human instinct. It is ingrained in us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if somebody like reaches out, you know, we're not automatically defensive.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good. So we are more likely to be warming and accepting to the situation, which is why these tactics work.
Exactly. Why you always have to be very careful if you do decide to use them.
Mm.
The next one is cognitive load and defense mechanisms. When people are in social situations where they feel comfortable, their psychological defense mechanisms weaken. They're less likely to employ rationalization, intellectualization, or other protective strategies that would normally guard their true feelings and intentions. Social environments trigger our innate desire for connection, which can override caution.
Kind of
It
bleeds
absolutely
in.
can.
Yep, it bleeds into what we were talking about with the trust and vulnerability. Goes right into that. Like we were saying, like you just naturally want to connect with people.
And throw a few drinks in there and
Oh, make it even worse. Like yeah,
mm-hmm.
that's where vulnerability comes in. Like take down the walls. Like yeah, yeah.
Yep. A little bit of libation makes the tongue, well, move.
Well, it's supposed to drop inhibition, like drop in inhibitions.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mm, no, I don't know. You know what? I just had a rule. I don't like doing first dates in any kind of alcoholic thing. Like no dinners with wine,
No.
none of that.
Yeah.
I'm like you. It's the library or the bookstore or the coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
Thing. Some of my best first dates have been like that. Yeah. Well, something simple. Even a walk in the park. You know. But
That's always nice.
I've even had somebody invite me to a food truck. Seriously, like a taco truck, like first date, taco
That
truck, sit on the bench, eat a taco, and leave. That was
that
it.
sounds amazing.
Yeah, see? And it was a very pleasant first date. No pressure, nothing like that. Very casual. Yeah. So,
Movies,
this
dinner, and breakfast. Yes, absolutely, Mrs. C.
movie dinner breakfast? That is definitely a married person date right there. Is in that order, Mrs. Cassandra? This thing I'm teasing her. No, I think they're all three very good dates. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
hmm Social proof in liking. People are more willing to share information with those they like and trust, making the appearance of friendship a powerful tool for intelligence gathering. The combination of appearing cooperative while demonstrating goodwill creates a psychological obligation in others to match that behavior. Unfortunately, yes, like we all want to get along, right? And we want to think that, would you say it's true? I know for me, I would rather I kind of concentrate on the good in people than the bad. I might see red flags, I might, and I'll be paying attention to them, but I do focus on more of the positive attributes, especially in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. Um, so yeah, so someone might appear more friendly to me than they actually are, because I'll be poo pooing the warning signs. Because I definitely want to believe the people are innately good, you know. But yeah, mm,
Fair enough.
mm,
Information asymmetry. In uncertain situations, people seek to reduce anxiety by sharing information and seeking validation from others they trust. Someone posing as a friend provides a perceived safe space for vulnerability, which the person being observed mistakes for genuine friendship.
hmm it actually thinks they're giving taking back and forth like
Mm,
information in there, you know, uh, looking for approval and validation on things, and the other one's just gathering up all the information. Like, hmm.
yup.
I guess in these situations, one thing that you can do is always take a inventory of a conversation after, especially with new people you meet. Um, it's really hard to do while it's going on, but afterwards you can think about how much information did they actually give you, or were you the only one giving information out? And that would give you a clue right away in these
Absolutely.
strategies. Yeah. Unless they're really good, like the ones that Rekkr brought up, and they do the false confessions and lie right to your face really well. But
Yeah.
they, but then it's human nature. Like, don't feel bad if those people are in your circles, because like it's in our human nature to want to believe them, to believe that everything is good, and not to judge them straight out. So don't, like, these tactics definitely work on us because they go with our just natural instincts and psychological reasons that we aren't even in control of. Like most of the time, it just organically happens. Like, so don't beat yourself up like when these kind of people come out of the woodwork after you. Mm-mm. Like, you're not an idiot. You're not dumb. You definitely still have all of your wits about you and anything. It's just it works for a reason, because they use it psychologically in against our human nature to take advantage. And when somebody is focused on doing that, there's really not much you can do to prevent it.
No.
Yeah, because the last thing you want to do is change who you are because of who they are. You know what I mean? Like, they that's the one thing about this series that I enjoy, Rekkr, and I'm glad that you brought it to me, is to get people comfortable with that idea. To feel better about, like, there's always going to be people out there to use these laws in a very nefarious way,
Mm-hmm.
but that ain't on you. If they use it on you, at least you've got some tools to recognize it and everything, but it doesn't make you the bad person. It doesn't judge, you're not being judged by it at all. In reality, it's them, you know. Uh, and just to help people understand they, like why we get taken in by all of this stuff, and how the psychological parts are working, and where human nature just comes in evolution, in our fight or flight, in just our need for connection and communication, and just you know wanting to believe in the good, you know.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. And then we get the fun part and talk about like examples of modern examples of success. Like, well, Duveen's story, the art dealer, was a success story in business corporate intelligence. In other words, using spies to get information to help build your business in some way. He paid all of those employees of all the rich people to get the information, and he advanced his business with that information greatly. You know, there's a true success story. Um,
Absolutely.
well, then we've got espionage cases. Like these are espionage cases that were discovered on how things were done. There was the Lin Wei Ding Google case in 2024. A Chinese national stole AI trade secrets from Google by appearing as a trusted employee while covertly gathering proprietary information for Chinese AI organizations. That made the papers for sure. But how can you prevent it? You really can't. Like if somebody's gonna be a dual, like a dual spy, like a double agent, there's nothing you can do about it. You know,
Nope.
how would you know, right? Hytera versus Motorola. Hytera recruited former Motorola employees who used their insider positions to steal digital mobile radio technology while maintaining the appearance of normal employment relationships. So So while they were working for Motorola, they got all this information. They did it on purpose, and then they weren't working for them anymore. And Hytera recruited them and got all the information. This is great. Like that. That was that. Look how long that was. 2007 to 2020. 13 years of intelligence to put a company under and steal their trade secrets. That's ingenious. Before they were discovered, of
That's
course.
some that's some definite skill there.
Yeah, 2020 must be when they got discovered and they weren't doing it anymore. That's probably why it ended. Otherwise, they'd still be doing it, obviously. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
yeah. Do you want to take whoop, the bottom? Well, the bottom one?
Yes. Political and diplomatic intelligence. Talleyrand's diplomatic strategy, Queen Elizabeth I's spy master posed as a friend to many while building an extensive spy network that uncovered numerous plots, including the Bangington plot that led to Mary, Queen of Scots' execution.
Yeah. Queen Elizabeth got lots of information from her spy masters, you know, and friends of the court. She used information that way a lot. And Talleyrand, this French guy, this French politician who definitely often did it. He's the one who just casually throws, word statements into a room to see how people react. Yeah. Talleyrand is often a good example of politicians' wordplay and how he used information strategy above everyone else. Like no one ever knew what he thought, but he knew where everybody else was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah. Examples of failures: trust, betrayal, and reputational damage. I'll do the first one and I'll let you do the second one.
I can
The,
do that.
the first one is about Oracle versus Microsoft from 2000. Oracle hired private detectives to investigate trade groups supporting Microsoft. When it became public, Oracle suffered severe reputational damage despite the legality of hiring investigators. The covert methods opened them to ethical criticisms and damaged their corporate image. So, even though they did nothing wrong, because there's nothing wrong with hiring investigators to find information out, it's a legal thing, they didn't do anything illegal by trying to find public information from groups, about what Microsoft was doing. Um, but it was still deemed unethical by society, like by the public, and they suffered great damage.
As they should.
Mm.
Then we have Hewlett Packard internal spying scandal, 2006. HP's board hired private investigators who misrepresented themselves to phone companies to access call records of directors and journalists. Four employees were charged with felonies, and while charges were eventually dismissed, the scandal demonstrated how spying tactics can backfire spectacularly. The breach of trust within the organization created lasting damage.
Hmm. And you could see why. Like, they actually look, it's kind of like they're misrepresenting things. And so the public does actually take an eye to that, even though it might be common in business to do it. The public doesn't like it when it's put in their face like that.
No, everyone knows that it happens, but no one likes to. No one wants to ever see it.
Exactly. Hmm. And then we have some examples of failed employee intelligence gathering. The Earl corporate espionage case. An IT leader created secret accounts to monitor emails after leaving, posing as a friendly former colleague. When discovered, it led to criminal prosecution and conviction. As it should. He took people's
Mm-hmm.
email. Man, that's just wrong. That's wrong, wrong, wrong. Dude. Yeah.
That's brutal.
Mm.
Then we have Four Pillars versus Avery Dennison, 1989 to 1997. An employee recruited to spy on Avery Dennison was only discovered when another Four Pillars employee inadvertently revealed the scheme during a job interview. This led to $40 million in damages and criminal penalties.
Mm-hmm. He was there spying the whole time. And then it was just during a job interview that somebody else kind of revealed it. Like, look how long that lasted. 8 years. 8 years.
They probably made that. They probably made the 40 million back with all the information that they got, and then some.
Probably. Probably. You know. Well, this all leads to another form of it failing is institutional betrayal. When organizations are caught using friendship as a cover for intelligence gathering, it creates institutional betrayal, a violation of trust that leads to severe consequences, including customer defection, employee turnover, and lasting reputational harm. An example is State Farm's trust score actually fell by more than half in one quarter when a deceptive practice that they were using was discovered. Um, you just don't, institutional betrayal. When we think that they're trying to hoodwink us, we all know in business they have a goal. It's a capitalist country, okay? We all know big business rules, and they're going to use certain tactics, and they are trying to manipulate us at all times to
What
their
was
end
that?
goal, their end
What was
goal
that
of
one saying?
profit.
ABC always be closing.
Yes, always be closing. It's like that's a trade. That's real estate, trade, sales. Yeah. Well, they do say they always be closing, but you cannot be seen as purposely, absolutely going out of your way to manipulate. You don't want it that obvious because although we all know it exists, we don't want it shoved in our face. And once it
No.
is, we have to react to it, and that's when you get into ethical and moral issues that we are forced to face, and we have to choose sides. And you're not going to come out on the good end of it.
Nope.
Okay, all right. Can you read the next one?
Yes. Personal relationship destruction. When Law 14 is applied to genuine friendships, it typically backfires by creating permanent damage. People who feel manipulated or spied on by someone they trusted or often withdraw completely and warn others, creating a reputational cascade effect. The discovery of deception eliminates any possibility of trust restoration. Uh, the fundamental weakness of Law 14 is that while it may provide short term intelligence advantages, the discovery of betrayal creates lasting consequences that often outweigh the benefits of the information gained. In an interconnected world where reputation spreads rapidly, the risk reward calculation has shifted significantly against this approach, which is 100% true. The like there, there's a reason why there's a saying the internet never forgets,
Mm-hmm.
because once that information is out there, that information is out there. Very, very, very few people have ever managed to make information that gets online disappear.
Mm-hmm.
It has happened. I have seen it. I've seen a number of times when um, people with enough influence have been able to scrub things from the internet, or try to, at least, successfully. Um,
Nice.
but it is very difficult.
And we were talking before about how in 2025 the risk of using this law is greater than it was in the past because of that, because of our connectability now and how easy it is to find anything out, how fast things spread.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be really careful with this one. It's I don't think it's as beneficial now as it has been in the past. I'm sure
No,
people still use it in a light form, like we were talking about casually, like dating or interviewing your next babysitter or whatever.
unintentionally.
Hmm. Um, but I don't really see it being the risk of being discovered, the risk of actually suffering reputational damage because of it is is much greater now. It's much easier to be judged that way now. So, oh, then we're almost done. We'll get to the reversal. It was too much to put on a slide, but we'll just read it right from the book. Uh, Green writes that information is critical to power, but just as you spy on other people, you must be prepared for them to spy on you. One of the most potent weapons in the battle for information, then, is giving out false information. As Winston Churchill said, truth is so precious that she should always be attended by a bodyguard of lies. You must surround yourself with such a bodyguard so that your truth cannot be penetrated. By planting the information of your choice, you control the game. In 1944, the Nazis' rocket bomb attacks on London suddenly escalated. Over 2,000 V 1 flying bombs fell on the city, killing more than 5,000 people and wounding many more. Somehow, however, the Germans consistently missed their targets. Bombs that were intended for Tower Bridge or Piccadilly would fall well short of the city, landing in less populated suburbs. This was because, in fixing their targets, the Germans relied on secret agents they had planted in England. They did not know that these agents had been discovered and that in their place, English controlled agents were feeding them subtly deceptive information. The bombs would hit farther and farther from their targets every time they fell. By the end of the campaign, they were landing on cows in the country. By feeding people wrong information, you gained a potent advantage. While spying gives you a third eye, this information puts out one of your enemy's eyes. A cyclops, he will always, he always misses his target. It sounds so ominous. Oh, green. Oh, green, green. Hmm.
He has a flair for the theatrical in some respects.
Like he does, but I get it. Like this information can be very useful with this one because you send people on the wrong path. You deflect them away from what your true intentions are, leaving you
Mm-hmm.
a better path to your main goal. You know. Hmm.
Exactly.
Well, that that's pretty much it for the presentation in the whole
Yeah.
chapter on that. So, so how comfortable were you with this one?
Um, it was definitely I found it actually kind of useful, not to use obviously, but to just keep myself aware of in if I ever get into any like those kinds of social situations that I could
Mm.
be a little bit more measured
Mm-hmm.
in some respects.
Well, it can be useful. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's useful to know that it goes on all the time. And just
Oh,
that we're a
absolutely.
little more conscious of our own communication styles and how much we are revealing and everything.
Mm.
Mm. But I mean, I don't think in building relationships, if you're too guarded, you really can't build relationships, right?
Oh,
No,
absolutely not.
yeah. So it's got to be a fine balance. It
Mm-hmm.
definitely, it definitely has its place in business, where you're building relationships on a surface level. You're building relationships for a common agenda and goal. You know, you're everybody there is trying to accomplish something. It's a little different situation. Well, personally,
Mm.
you don't want to use it that way in personal situations. It's I mean, nobody wants to be looked at as manipulative or, you know, trying to get something out of everybody. It's just not pleasant. It's just not comfortable. I don't want to be around people like that I think are like that.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
There's too much in it. I don't have enough energy for that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
I just I just I don't. I don't. I don't
Like,
have that enough. I don't have enough energy for that kind of stuff.
mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
if people go if people take like say something random like really out there and then it's just it's just sort of like okay.
Mm-hmm.
If they try to get information out of me, I don't know why they would. I don't. I'm not. I don't exactly have a lot of very interesting information
But,
that's useful to anyone other than myself.
well, that's not true. Somebody getting to know you would find it useful, like trying to find out, like, you know, curious about you
Yeah,
as a
I guess
person,
so. Yeah,
you know. So it wouldn't be just for you. So,
yeah.
but but then again, that's not business. But actually, in business, they would want to know a lot about you. They want to know your character, especially if they, like, say they want to invest in you in a product, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are going to want to know more about you, your history, your past, what other endeavors you've had, or successful ones, failures. And they're going to use all that information to make a decision and whether to invest in your new project or not.
That is true.
Mm.
That
Uh,
is very true.
mm. Well, I think we could wrap this one up early then. I mean,
Yeah, I
I
think
don't.
so.
Besides the warning that of course, you'll suffer in personal relationships if you're discovered to be just lying to get information out of people or
Use
putting up
this at
false
your own
person.
peril.
Yeah. It can be used strategically in a very unnefarious way. Um, to get information for your own personal goals and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It can. It can. But it's also, I think, so far out of the first 14 chapters, this one would be the most it's used the most commonly out there, but I don't think it's used successfully anymore in this generation in 2025 now.
No.
I don't think I think people can recognize it um quicker. I think people can debunk things faster with the way we're all connected, the way things are so searchable anymore.
Yep.
So, you know, especially because it's so calming out on, especially online and here in the socials, people are always double checking everything everybody says and
Mm-hmm.
does. And people are getting exposed every friggin' day for the stupidest stuff. Like,
I
I don't
actually
think it,
uh, I actually have a terrible habit of if someone tells me a piece of information, I got in trouble for this, and I can kind of understand why, but I have a habit of if someone tells me a piece of information, or like some kind of interesting fact, the first thing I'll do is look it up, like just without even
when
thinking.
he
I'll be
says
like,
he got in trouble for it, he actually did. That happened to us in the beginning, like when we first started talking. And every time I would say something to you about something, and you would Google the search for a statistic or like a paper on it or whatever to see if it really was a fact. And I'm like, why would I say it if it wasn't true? Like, you're really annoying. I remember that. I remember.
yeah,
I was like,
it's
dude.
not like I'm not doing it malicious. I'm not trying to do it maliciously. It's just it's for me, it's always really interesting to see the extra bits of information that might get forgotten um in translation, because like you could tell me a piece of information, but there could also be like some really fascinating like side bits of information that someone might forget or someone might not add to it.
Hmm, I see that. I see that. And also, because if you're going to remember a fact that somebody says, you want to make sure it's a fact and you don't end up repeating it and it's not true. You don't get caught.
Yeah, that that
Um,
that's just sort of a side effect of my bad habit.
it's not necessarily a bad habit. I mean, definitely, if you're going to be retaining information and dispersing it, you want to make sure it's true.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say letting the person know about it immediately is probably a little, you could have been a little more subtle about it.
Yeah. Uh, I think one time that I actually I did do this. That sort of was one of the few times where it was actually good. Not that I would do it, but like a friend of mine had actually said that what was it? Having a little bit of alcohol after you've been studying is actually helps you remember stuff. And I was like,
Did you actually look it up to make sure, like, to see if it was true?
I did, and
And it's not true.
well, it's true for 80 people.
It's true for who? 80
It's
people?
true for 80 people.
Oh, the study was that
That
small?
that was the sample size of 80 people. I was just like, dude, come on. It's 80 people.
Oh my god. Like, it's not even, like, yeah. I
And
see.
and by the way, if anyone wants to know what a good sample size is, the baseline for a good sample size is 2,500 people,
Yeah.
2,500 people minimum,
Mhm.
and even then, it's not as easy as you might think.
I
A
agree.
lot, a lot. You'd be surprised at how many statistics are either one misinterpreted, two uh, intentionally misused, or three just flat out wrong, or just not even done right. It
Right.
is crazy how many statistics are like that. And I haven't even taken statistics. I do actually want to take statistics at some point.
Mm. But it is true that these days I have noticed a lot of people quoting like very, very small studies. It's really hard to find good studies anymore, like good comprehensive studies. So you got to be careful of that. Like we've come across that a lot in doing our research for stuff, haven't we?
I know a lot of things that I used to hold as true. I've gone back and looked at the studies um more in detail, and they've just completely fallen apart. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's disconcerting because a lot of these studies, a lot of things that you heard through TV and stuff like that, they're not lying, and that's the thing that's really dangerous, is that they're not actually lying about what they're saying. They're just misrepresenting it.
Yes, it's the quality of the information. It's not necessarily a lie, but the
Mm,
interpretation and how they're using the information is not as it was genuinely meant to be. And that can be
yes.
very disconcerting. So you can't actually call them out for a lie because you're like, look at this study, it says this. I said, yeah, but it also says this. Like, you're
Mm-hmm.
quoting like line 7, but there's like 92 lines. And if you read them all, that's not the interpretation of the study. But
Yep.
um it's very common, very common. Because like people will
Yes.
use information to prove a point. So they're only going to use the part of the information that proves the point. They're very
Yes.
selective information, you know.
Uh,
So
a, g-
yeah.
uh, a good example for something that is true but not necessarily true. Grass isn't actually green. Factually, it's true. Grass isn't green. The chlorophyll inside the grass is what makes it green.
Oh, that's right. Because the
The
blade.
actual structure of the grass is clear. It's see through.
Okay, that's true. And then the color is on the. Yeah. All right, I get you. All right, trick. That was tricky, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, research studies the other hood. You see, say
Yes.
research, and out of the woodwork crawls Almighty.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yes,
Yes. Yes.
we were
I'm
talking.
sure. I'm sure you've come across a lot of them,
Yeah,
uh, Mate.
the whole channel is based on debunking all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, one subject at a time.
There
There
is
is
no
no
green.
green.
Yeah, there is no green. Yeah.
God. But,
Which is technically true. It's what we perceive it.
it's what we perceive
Exactly.
to be green. It's like exactly.
Exactly.
Oh gosh.
It's
All right.
it is crazy the kinds of misinformation that people that it is crazy the level of truth there is in misinformation. The fact
Mhm.
that you can be you could be absolutely telling the truth and lying at the exact same time without even realizing it.
It just no, well, I don't think that some people probably don't realize they're doing it. Well, most people do realize they're doing it. That's the
Oh
dangerous
yeah.
part. Is that the propaganda? This is the propaganda that gets out there, and you can get whole masses of people to believe something because somebody said, "Well, I saw it in this research study out of this line." Like I said, line 1 out of 92 lines. The rest of the study totally disproves what the person is saying, but they don't want you to quote that part because they're banking on the fact that people aren't going to look it up or find more substantial studies to go with it. I have a rule. Like the rule is 3 studies, like three
Mm.
studies that all say the same thing, or is it like yes or no? Like I can't weigh in as much, you know. Eh, well, like we said, most of the stuff we're researching lately, there isn't even huge, substantial studies done. They're all
Most
small numbers, like you said, 80 people here, 100 people here, which I think you can skew results anyway with such
Oh,
small amount of people.
you absolutely can. It is frightening how easily it is to skew results to make it seem like something's one way when it's actually another. Um, there's
Hmm.
so many examples of that. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there are. Yes, that's another old wives' tale. The idea
This
that
one, yeah.
yeah, blood is blue before it hits oxygen.
Yeah, but there's oxygen in our blood necessarily. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
the conveyor of oxygen always. Like it yes, yes. Yeah, Marty, I actually commented on there and I actually had somebody push back on me because I said I gave you credit for you being as patient as you could, like as cool as you could, I think I said. Um, but that guy was rough. Like Marty talks to people from the other side all the time and tries to
Mm,
get them to address the opposite side of an issue. But
mm,
often than not, although Marty is willing to address what they're saying, they are not willing to address what he's saying. They won't even approach it. Like it's
yep.
it was they. I couldn't believe it. This guy was just so arrogant. Like, oh, mm, but it's called
I
patriarchy. Yeah.
I I think I kind of want to one day do a stream where we just go through a whole bunch of things, whole bunch of beliefs, and check the studies on them, and just see like what ones hold up to any sort of rigor.
Oh, you
Because
you want to you want
I
to do
have
that?
a
I
few.
mean, you got whole of vacation. You got
Yeah,
months now. We could do that.
yeah,
Is
we
this
could
is
do that
this
at
a
some
we
point.
thing or a you thing? I mean, I'm fine either way. Yeah.
I think it could be a wee thing, or yeah, I don't mind. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, let's get our nerd on. Like I like
Yep.
it. Hmm. So
Everyone will
okay.
be like,
So toss us some beliefs you want us to debunk, people. Just toss them out to us. I'll make a list. Yeah.
mm,
It does sound fun, doesn't it, Mrs. Cassandra? So think of some. Yeah.
mm.
You know. But all right. So I think that pretty much wraps up chapter 14. What do you think? You got any
I
last
think so
thoughts on
too.
it? You
No, not that I can think of.
then I have to ask you the question. Then
Mm.
this is me enticing the information out of you. Ready?
Oh.
So if there's one thing you want people to take away from this particular chapter, what is it?
Um. Uh. I guess really this is a great. If you want to alienate yourself amongst your friends and family, this is the chapter to follow.
If you don't want friends
If you don't want friends and you
or
want everyone to
interpersonal
be
relationships,
or
yeah.
or any reasonable interpersonal relationships, yeah, just follow this chapter.
Just follow Rule 14. Be a spy. Be a false
Mm-hmm.
friend. Yes, stab everybody in the back for informational purposes. Yes, do that. No,
Mm-hmm.
I actually did. I'd say be aware it's being done. Don't beat yourself up about it when you get caught in it because like it is there are psychological reasons and human nature reasons why it works on us. It's in our nature to respond to friendly people even if it's false friends. Like, you know, we don't necessarily want to think the worst thing right out the box. Um, although it is easy to get jaded out here, you know. Well, this is a
Mm.
like this is a micro society out here to me. Like this is a small part of it. Like it might be a little more negative on the socials out here than it is in real life. So I don't want to judge like everything by it. Uh, I would say that my interactions here could be a little more jaded than they are like in real life. I'd be much more open, I think,
Mm-hmm.
in certain situations than I might be hesitant here. But it's because of the history here, not so much, and
Mm.
the things that happen. This is so true, Marty. Like, we only
That
use 10% of our brain. Yeah.
actually that's another misconception.
Is it?
Yes,
Hmm.
we actually use
And here I am
various.
saying it's so true
Uh,
because I hear it all the time. So it's
it
like
it
instinctual to want to think it's true because everybody says it like constantly. Well, like, we're gonna have to debunk that one. That's gonna be the first one we debunk.
hmm Also, yes, it's called p hacking. That's exactly what it is. When you manipulate studies and stuff like that, the
P
research
hacking.
data to get what the conclusion that you want, running
Hmm.
several studies and only publishing the cohorts that research significance. Yeah,
Would that make the current Department of Health a great P hacker then? Yeah.
I just yeah. Let's not go
Hmm.
there.
Yeah, let's not. Yes, don't get my stream held up by mentioning any names. But okay, I know. I put my foot in it. I said it first. Oh yeah, full of P hackers, state whole damn
hmm
administration. Yes. Like,
mm,
I'm glad I have an actual word that's not a curse word that I can associate with them. Like P hacker.
hmm
I kind of like it. Mhm. Well, this was
Yes,
fun.
it was
Thanks,
heaps of fun.
yeah, thanks again for torturing me on a regular basis with the 48 laws and challenging my boundaries and my my convictions of right and wrong in
hmm
communicating styles with people with these
I've
laws.
I've come to accept this as my job on your channel.
Yes, to make the bear extremely uncomfortable and seeing how she wangles her way through this one.
hmm
Because a lot of this is very harsh and it is definitely business structured. Of course, it is. The whole book was designed to keep your power in business and to gain your power in strategic goal planning and accomplishments. In getting your endeavors done, like it in a ladder climbing type society,
hmm
situation, and not really for personal relations. But my goal is to see if it still actually stands up in 2025, and why we all fall for it, why manipulation in all of this is it works on us so well, and try to have make people more aware of it and not to feel bad about it because like it is what it is. If people are going to do it and you're aware of it, at least you don't have to suffer the consequences like without knowledge. At least, um, well, it's I no longer feel like an idiot when people try to take advantage of me. I know, like
No.
it's just like they're gonna do what they're gonna do. It's not necessarily me. Like what is it? P.T. Barnum said there was a sucker born every minute. He
Yep.
actually looked at everybody as a sucker, but I don't really think people are suckers. I think he's a manipulator, and that it's in our human nature to want to believe in the in the good, and not to
hmm
think that somebody's pulling the wool over our eyes on a everyday kind of basis, even though it could be true. It more often is,
Exactly.
you know, nervous laugh as I exit the stream. Well, all right, that's it. I'm calling it now. Like,
Yep.
thanks again for another pleasant 2 hours. Thank you, all of you who joined us. Thank you to those who joined the chat to talk. For those who are watching behind the scenes, we see you there. We see you. And we are glad we're here. Don't forget to hit the comment sections, hit the like button. All the engagement has really been helping us in the algorithm. I am so very grateful to each and every one of you. Those of you that have been here from the beginning, I am so grateful and humbled that you're still here. And all of you new people, tell me what you're liking about it. Because if there's something you like, I want to keep doing it because you're really encouraging me with those numbers.
hmm
That could be a good thing or a bad thing. What do you think, Greg? Like, I don't know.
We'll just assume
And
it's good.
we'll just assume it good. Oh, and a little bit of channel business. Tomorrow, we are going to bring back one of the shows that we used to do with Rekkr. One of the first shows we did together was the "What the Actual F" um, is going on in regards to like things that happen in commentary and entertainment and stuff like that. and we're gonna do a show tomorrow night. I think it's 9 o'clock. Because like Colleen Ballinger, he had the nerve to come back for a moment, for a hot second, and we're like, what the what? I just yeah, it should be fun. Yep, it should be fun. So we hope to see you all there. And if you can't be there, in the comment section and joining us in some of the things we'll be talking about, then we hope to see you for the replay uh, and in the comment section. That's it. I think I've talked enough for the night. I think we'll call. Good night.
Yes. Night.
Good night, everyone.
See ya.